Hello everyone, it's me Angela, and it's the StevAngela show without my Steven. He's not here. He is basically, how would I say it? He's celebrating his parents' 50th anniversary. So he's with them at the moment and he'll be back on Monday. But as promised, I'm starting this new YouTube channel, and if you guys didn't know, you need to subscribe because I'm going to be here on Mondays doing my rolling empire. It's a way for you to come see me in my world of how I do what I do, of building this empire, whether it's going out for a job or working on a job or doing motivational speaking or just here at the house working on projects. Whatever it is, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to be recording it and showing it to you guys, putting the real back into reality. And then on Wednesdays, it's Warrior Wednesday, where I'm just going to be hanging out with friends, whether we're working out or we're eating or we're drinking some wine or we're out shopping, whatever. I have a bunch of warriors in my life. You know the saying, birds of a feather flock together. Well, I believe that angels of a feather flock together. And warriors to me are like angels, they're earth angels. And then Fridays, if you love glam and fashion and style and beauty and makeup and all that gusto of just glamazonianness, then join me on Fridays for Fashionable Friday, because I'm going to be the beauty blazer and just breaking stereotypes, jumping back into the modeling. And I've been saying that, but I've been so busy. I've reached out to a couple of agencies and I've been shooting and everything, but I'm basically going to share just the whole journey of getting back into the industry with everyone. And there's folks out there that have been asking me how to break into the industry, so I'm going to share that as well. And then Saturdays is still going to be the StevAngela show. So when Steven gets back on Monday, we'll resume and you'll see him next Saturday. But this Saturday, I figured I could do the StevAngela show on my own and hold the fort, because there are a few questions that a few Fangelas out there were asking, and they're a bit long with the answers. So I figured I can take some time and spend a little time with you. Anyways, so back to the show. So a lot of people ask, basically one of the biggest things is how I stay motivated. And I share a lot of it in a sense of it's all in my mind, that the moment that I got paralyzed, that day 17 years ago when I woke up in the hospital, I knew at that very second when I opened my eyes and I was looking up at that ceiling and I couldn't feel anything, I couldn't move anything, I was alive. That's all that mattered to me. Even though I was not able to sit up or move my head at that moment, I knew I was alive for a reason. And within that second, I knew I had to make a decision whether I was going to go down a positive path or a negative path. And I know myself all too well that I probably, if I went down that negative path, nobody would be able to bring me back. I'm scared of that negative person. I don't want to see that negative person. I don't want to feel it or go there or be there. It's just a dark place. And so I decided that no matter what, I was alive, I had purpose, and I was going to choose that positive path. And so by doing that, I also had a vision. And I don't share this with a lot of people, but I had a premonition at 17 years old that I was going to be in a horrific car accident. So when I woke up that day, 1 week before 9/11, on morphine and just in this paralyzed body, I knew it was the big bang I've been waiting for. And so I immediately accepted it. I knew I was going to do something with it and it was going to be powerful. And in fact, I had this vision. I had my father sit by my bedside and he wrote word for word what my vision was. And I can tell you I'm living it till this day. So the folks out there who ask me how I do what I do, how do I stay positive? It's a decision that I make every day. You're going to have your bad days. You're going to have the days when you're just tired and you run out of patience. But the one thing you need to remember is you have to take a breath. You have to stop in your tracks, come back within yourself, and just take a moment and realize that nothing is permanent. That situation that you're in, whether you're arguing with someone or you're having difficulty opening something, whatever it is. I mean, in my case, I have problems with like opening jars or things like that. And if I get impatient, I'm just like, oh my God, let me open this. And I take a moment and I just stop and let the energy just kind of flow through my body. And then I move forward. And so my advice to anybody out there who asks how to stay positive, it's just to breathe within the moment and to not be so hard on yourself and to understand that nothing is permanent. It's only temporary. And when you have an obstacle or a catastrophic event that happens to you, you can look it in the eye and take it as a challenge that when you accept it, when you go through it, when you fight through it, that you're going to be stronger in the end. And so that's one of the things that I can share. Now, a lot of people, well, not a lot, but there's a few that have asked the question, am I spiritual? Now, if you didn't watch Push Girls in the beginning, I was talking to Tiffany about meditating and everything. That is something that I had learned when I was, 23 by my ex-husband. I learned how to chant. But the question, am I spiritual? If you ever saw the movie Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis, that was me when I was a little girl. Yes, I saw dead people. As crazy as it sounds. I was living in Philippines. This is going to be crazy now, so just bear with me, okay? These are my experiences. I'm not trying to put this on to anybody. None of that. I'm just sharing what I've experienced in my life and how I live my life, and that is it. I'm just sharing that. It might not be for everybody, but this is just what I believe in, what I've experienced, and so that's that. I'm just going to share that. And that's it. You know, we're all here to learn from one another, to experience things with each other, and we take each thing with a grain of salt or whatever. So for me, let me rewind. My mom is Buddhist and my father is Catholic. So my parents split up when I was very young. But my father, he wanted to baptize me, and my mom said no. My mother actually told my father, wait till she's 18 years old and let her believe in what she wants to believe in, which is cool. But when my parents split up, my grandparents actually raised me for a little bit, and they raised me Christian. So my foundation is Christianity, and I grew up going to all kinds of church with all my friends, from Baptist to you name it, I probably went. But as I got older, as I was going in my journey, I started experiencing spiritual events, to scenarios, to, oh my gosh, I could have a whole vlog about this, and it could get really deep. I don't want to go too deep and get too far out there, but I basically can tell you guys that I believe in angels. I believe in spirit guides. I believe in, you know, when you have that voice like speaking to you and it's telling you not to do something or to do something, I believe in that. Whether you want to say if you're clairvoyant or you have a sixth sense or you have your inner voice, whatever you want to label, we all have intuition. We all have our intuitiveness and instincts, but it's a little different when, you know, I was a little girl and I was growing up in the Philippines, and you know there was a lot of wars and everything, so there was a lot of spirits on the island, and we lived in like 5 different homes in the Philippines. And I remember one of the homes that we lived in, I used to have issues with sleeping, and I would always get up in the middle of the night while my parents were partying with my aunt and my, at the time, my uncle. You know, they're best friends, and I'd be like, they were like, Angela, go to sleep. And I'm like, I can't, the muumu's there in my room. I was like, the man is there. Muumu means monster in Tagalog. So basically, sure enough, when we left that house, my aunt went back there and a man did die. He died in my room. He basically hung himself. And I would see this guy. I'm getting goosebumps right now. It's crazy. I don't like to talk about this stuff when I'm alone because it's creepy, because I can see things, I can hear things. I choose not to, but if it's in a case of helping someone out, then I go there. I'm pretty intuitive. I don't want to say that I'm a psychic. There was a time when I went to the airport and the woman was patting me down through security, and I was like, oh God, here we go. And I can hear this like voice screaming at me, my little angel just saying, oh my God, tell her, tell her, tell her. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell her. I don't want to freak her out. Because sometimes you just don't want to say things because you might freak people out. When you just out of the blue just say stuff and it's accurate, it just freaks people out. So most of the time I just try not to do it. And so I was like, okay, fine. So I looked at the lady. I said, ma'am, and she like looked at me. I was like, I know your son fell off the bunk bed. Now don't freak out. She's like, oh my God, are you a psychic? Oh my God. And she started freaking out. I said, no, 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 I'm not a psychic. Don't say that. Please don't call me a psychic. And I said, I know he fell off the bunk bed and he hit his head. And don't worry, he's going to be okay. He's a little boy. He's a boy. Just let him be a boy. And don't worry so much. And so I gave her message. I mean, I could tell you so many events from when I was little to when I left my house at 17 with my ex-boyfriend in San Jose. We were living in this loft, and little did I know, I didn't even know that the loft was a church prior. And where our room was where they used to keep the dead bodies and everything. So me and my old roommate, John, we would feel stuff in that place. And there are some things that I had found out that I got from picking up some stuff from there, like connections and things that sounds crazy, like I said. And even when I moved to Los Angeles and I met my ex-husband, when I went to his old apartment, I would feel this presence by the bathroom. And I could feel it, and the hair on the back of my neck would just like stand up. And I would like run to the bathroom, and then I could just feel it, and it just would bother me. And I remember one day he dropped me off at my apartment. And you know that feeling when you feel like someone's following you or someone's watching you? So like I remember turning around and looking and nobody was there, and I was like, okay, something just followed me home. I went into my apartment, and as I was getting ready for bed, I remember I walked out of my bedroom and walked into the bathroom, and in my peripheral vision, the corner of my eye, I saw this man standing in the living room. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I like put my head down and I was like, I don't want to see this stuff. I don't want to see it anymore. Because I blocked this stuff when I was like 7.5, 8 years old in the Philippines. I remember seeing my last spirit and it scared the crap out of me. And I blocked it. I never wanted to see it again. And when I started seeing things again was when my grandfather had passed away when I was 16 and a half. And I remember walking down the hallway and I remember saying, okay, how dare God like took him away. I need to say thank you for all he did for me, that I love him and da 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 da. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I want to see him. And I remember going into the bathroom. I closed the door. I looked into the mirror and there he was. My grandfather was standing behind me. I freaked out. I put my head down and I was like, okay, I don't want to see him. I'm not ready for this stuff. I was like, just let him know that I love him and that da 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 da. And I basically said my message. And then that was it. And then from that point on, from when I was 17 on up until now, I just always feel that there's this presence with me that's just guiding and protecting me, which from God, whatever you guys want to believe in, God, Buddha, Allah, whatever you want to label the higher power, I believe in it. And as of my guide, I am guided. My life is more of a feeling. I go with the flow of my instincts, my intuition. That's how I lead my life. And I pray and I meditate a lot. I am a night owl and I stay up from 5 to 6 in the morning, sometimes 7 in the morning, because I have serious chronic pain. A lot of people don't know this, but from the paralysis, I don't take anything. I'm very holistic because I want to keep my system very clean. And a lot of those pills like dry your skin out, and I don't want wrinkles or just side effects. I just don't like the side effects. Cotton mouth, bumpy skin, whatever. I just don't want it. So basically, my pain tolerance is very high. But in the midst of all of it, when I'm laying there in bed, I do meditate and I speak to God in a sense of, there's my baby dog. And dog backwards is God. Ken's a bear. It's okay. It's okay. He hears the siren, so that's why he's barking. But anyways, so I don't want to get on a tangent and I don't want to get too deep for the folks out there that are not very spiritual or don't believe in this stuff. It's okay, my love. It's okay. But so to answer your question out there, I was going on the YouTube to see who specifically asked that question if I was spiritual. Yes, I am spiritual. And maybe I should just do a vlog just all on that. But this specific vlog that I'm doing right now, this video is for the StevAngela show, and it's answering a couple of questions. So maybe I'll do one video that's just all about all my spiritual encounters, from dying 5 times and coming back. I crossed over this last time, and what I felt over there and what I saw wasn't what freaked me out. It's the fact that I knew it was going to happen a month prior. So there's a lot of things that I could talk about with my spirituality and all these encounters. I'm like licking my lips because I still have like this almond. So let me like eat more almonds and lick my lips more. But anyways, so we'll move on. But I will do, if you guys want, just leave a comment below and let me know if you guys are interested in, and maybe I'll just do a whole video just about all my spiritual encounters from when I was young all the way up until now. And I could share all of that. So moving on. So the other question is stem cells. A lot of folks ask if I had stem cell surgery. Yes, I did. I was paralyzed 17 years ago in the car accident where I broke my neck at C4, C5, completely severed my spinal cord. If you look at the x-rays, severed. When I did the test to see if the signals were going down, they were not going past C5. And I did leave the country when Bush was running the country. Nothing against Bush, but they didn't allow stem cell surgery in the country at that time. And so I left and I went to Portugal, Lisbon, Portugal, and I had a surgery done by Carlos Lima. May he rest in peace. He passed away. Amazing, amazing man, wonderful man. So I was the 3rd American, the 11th patient, and I didn't use aborted fetus or cells from aborted fetus. I used my own cells. So basically what the doctor did, or what the doctors did, is so the easiest way I can explain it to you is that there's a peripheral area between the nasal and the brain. And it's like this area that has all these cells, like from olfactory cells to Schwann cells. They're basically like neutral cells to heal you. And if you break your arm or cut yourself, your brain will tell those cells to go to that specific area, and then it'll heal itself. But for some apparent reason, the brain cannot tell those cells to go into the spinal cord. So, saying all of that, the doctors said, well, why not? Why don't we just like go up into the nasal area, take those cells out, then open up the individual, recut them open, go to where the injury site is, clean up all the scar tissue that had keloided, plant the cells, weave it, and then close them up. Basically, bottom line. So it was a 6.5-hour surgery, and I can tell you that they promise it's not the magic bullet. It's not like you're going to do it and then the next day you're like walking. So, but what they do promise is you don't lose anything that you already have. And everybody's different. You might get something back, you might not. And so, not to be TMI, but I'm going to be TMI. I'm going to basically break it down because people keep asking what it did for me. So before the surgery, the signals were not going past C5. And I could lift my arms up a bit, and I still don't have the dexterity in my fingers. So I intertwine everything, like when I do my makeup, when I eat, everything. And then as of my legs, I did have a little bit slight movement in my right leg where I could lift it up just slightly. Because at the time I was working out at a facility called Project Walk. So fast forward, so after the surgery, what they do tell you is that if you do gain anything, you usually gain it within, you'll see results within seven months to a year. So at exactly 7 months, I was there, I remember, in the living room with my nurse Marie, and she was catheterizing me. So I'm not able to void on my own. Yes, I catheterize. So I have to catheterize every like 4 or 5 hours. And so she was catheterizing me. And before, I didn't have that sensation. Like, when you're in a car and you have that full bladder feeling like, oh my God, I gotta go to the bathroom, I gotta go to the bathroom, like hurry up, drive, we gotta get to the destination. So I didn't feel that before, but here it was. I started to feel like this feeling of fullness. And then I thought, oh my gosh, like maybe what if I like push, like just try to push the urine. So I was just like sitting there like trying to push the urine and see if anything would work. And all of a sudden my nurse started screaming like, oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then I stopped and she's like, no, 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 no. Then I pushed again. Oh my God. And then I stopped, and then like the urine was just like flowing back and forth. And then she's like, oh my gosh. And then so I was basically doing like using my Kegel muscles. So I was controlling the flow of the urine, and obviously stuff was coming back. So later when I did get tested, the signals did go past C5 and it was reaching all the way down to C7. Um, and then I started to get sensation. Now remember, when I got paralyzed, I couldn't feel anything from the neck down, and I couldn't feel anything. So I started to get sensation in my breast, on the right side of my stomach. I got sensation back in my hands. I couldn't feel my hands before. I started feeling underneath my arm, underneath my arm, on top of my arm. Everything from here up is all normal, the way it feels, except I don't have the dexterity. And then I started feeling like pressure on my butt, my left labia inside the vagina, my right anterior tib, which is basically your right shin, the bottom of my feet, and my right big toe. And then I started gaining more strength, and then I was able to lift up my right foot just slightly, and I could dorsiflex. So basically that's what I got. And someone asked if I'd get another stem cell surgery. I don't want to be a guinea pig right now. I know that I voted for Obama because I did wanted stem cells to be in this country so we can basically experiment and find a cure so folks that are paralyzed could walk again or have the chances of walking again. So I know that they're doing a lot of research, and there's some experiments or surgeries that are very close and are out there. But to answer your question, I wouldn't do the surgery just yet. I want to make sure that they perfect it. Because like I said, I did this one, I was under for 6.5 hours. I don't like to just keep going under and under and under. It just freaks me out. So hopefully that answered your question. So yes, so there you go. I would, but as long as they really worked on it and perfected it, then I would. I'm not going to just go to every single stem cell surgery site and just get it and try it out. Because for me, I've been paralyzed for 17 years and it hasn't stopped me. I do live a very fulfilled, powerful, awesome life, even though I'm sitting in a wheelchair. And, you know, I have my difficulties here and there, and I have to rely on others and things like that. But it's not everything for me to walk. As long as I can just experience all that I'm experiencing and still be with my loved ones and do the things that I do, it's cool. Now, if I do the stem cell surgery, if I can get a way to open my hands up or to get more trunk control where I can like hold myself up, because if I lean forward, I'll fall out of this wheelchair. And when I lay in a bed, I'm not able to sit up or roll over. So even if I could just do that, that would be amazing. Amazing. So yeah, so like even like last night, while Steven is in Italy, when my legs spasm at night, my knees go to the right. And so they stay like that because I don't have anybody to straighten them back up and put them straight. And so I just lay there. So that's that. So anyways, so I went very long on that. I'm looking at the time because I'm at 24 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, I talk a lot. So I don't want to take up everybody's time because I don't want this to be a very, very long video. But I just wanted to answer those main questions and to let everybody know that I'm back. So please subscribe. Please send questions. And next Saturday, Steven will be back. We'll be back to the StevAngela show. We love you guys. We appreciate all the support and everything that you guys give us in the sense of the energy, the love, and all that. So please comment down below, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. I have a bunch of accounts now. I'll put all the links down below, and come join me for this amazing ride that's going to be happening. I'm very excited. But I want to thank all of you guys. Wish you guys a beautiful weekend. Continue being unstoppable, doing what you love, and don't let anything get in your way. All right? See ya!